For this exercise, we'll be covering robotics in Canada. Robotics is an area within computer science, engineering, and technology that involves constructing, designing, and using robots for various applications. Most robots contain components such as control systems, mechanical bodies, power sources, and built in sensors, all to process information, move around, and perform different tasks, and make decisions based on the real world environment. Pre programmed robots are designed for specific and repetitive tasks. Teleoperator ones are controlled by humans. Humanoids are a type of robot that behaves pretty much like humans and resembles them in appearance. In Canada, robotics is used by many people, universities, and firms in industries such as automotive and manufacturing, research, construction, and agriculture. Some examples of companies that rely on robotics include Canova, Texas, Indro Robotics, Magna International, and Vention. Kitchener based Deep Trackers battery powered robots are designed and used for various purposes, such as monitoring infrastructures, gathering up and collecting evidence in risky and hazardous conditions, inspecting equipment, fish farming, and cleaning maintenance. Here's the SWOT analysis for why they are using robotics in Canada. Robotics increases productivity rates by completing tasks with better precision, faster speeds, and more attention to quality, benefiting employees and customers. Canada is revered for its excellent research on the many capabilities of robots and their applications. Despite being highly efficient and valued, robotics comes with high costs for initial investments and return on investments, or as we'll call it, ROI. Some Canadian firms prefer to wait for proven use cases and focus more on other immediate needs, becoming slow to adopt newer robotic technologies. In some industries, such as construction, automotive, and manufacturing, robotics helps combat labor shortages in Canadian firms by completing job related tasks. Adopting robotics not only drives innovation but also boosts the economy and fosters new job creation. However, knowledge and skill gaps are a growing concern, posing a critical risk for the Canadian economy. Older technology is vulnerable to cybersecurity risks, which exposes robotics to fraud, sabotage, and other forms of cyber attacks. In Canada, robotics is used by major companies and customers across sectors such as healthcare for surgery and remote care, agriculture for crop management and farming, logistics and retail for service, delivery and warehousing, forestry to reduce wildfires, and consumer electronics for general use. Cities such as Waterloo and Toronto in Ontario, as well as Montreal, Calgary, and Edmonton, and Halifax, are home to central robotics hubs for many companies. Robotics is being adopted by a vast number of groups, including citizens, immigrants, tourists, companies, and schools across many regions in Canada as of recent times, and especially as of 2025. By 2030, the nationwide robotics market is expected to see exponential growth in adoption and use, reaching over $2.0 billion billion Canadian dollars with a compound average growth rate of almost 4.4%. Overall, robotics market rates are also projected to rise significantly by as late as 2040. However, one prominent barrier that hinders progress in reaching these goals is simple. Many people actively resist change because they are risk averse and thus are slower to adopt the usage of robotics. Other barriers include high costs and a lack of comprehensive strategies proposed by the Canadian government, and of course, trade concerns. There's also a fear of losing jobs to robots in the workforce. In Canada, robotics can help solve issues related to every sustainable development goal by boosting production, maintaining safety in all areas, promoting good health in patients, and protecting various environments, especially including marine life. These are the sustainable development goals being achieved by robotics. Goal 2, zero hunger. Goal 3, good health and well being. Goal 8, decent work and economic growth. Goal 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. Goal 11, sustainable cities and communities. Goal 13, climate action. Goal 14, life below water. And Goal 15, life on land. The goal of two truths, one lie is to spot the lie. The most prominent barrier that hinders Canada's progress to reach and future projected market growth in robotics is that people actively support change because of risk taking strategies that actively support change. Older technology that is frequently used by firms is vulnerable to various forms of cyber attacks. Deep Tracker's battery powered robots are designed for purposes such as monitoring infrastructures, inspecting equipment, and fish farming. Which of these three statements is a lie? Can you spot it?